When we talk about men's health after the age of 50, one topic comes up again and again in hushed voices: testosterone. Some men see it as a measure of masculinity, others fear its decline as a sign of aging, and many are left confused by endless advice circulating online. One of the most common myths I hear in my clinic is that testosterone levels are entirely out of your control, a simple byproduct of age that cannot be influenced. Another myth is that you need expensive supplements or extreme diets to support your hormones. The truth is, your daily food choices, even something as simple as the nuts you eat, can influence your testosterone, your energy, and even your long-term prostate health. Here is why this matters. By the time men reach their 50s, studies show that nearly 1 in 2 will experience symptoms of low testosterone, fatigue, reduced muscle strength, lower libido, changes in mood, and sometimes difficulties with erections. According to the National Institutes of Health, testosterone levels naturally decline about 1% each year after the age of 30. But that decline is not the same for everyone. Lifestyle, diet, and overall metabolic health can either speed up that process or slow it down. Now, you might be surprised to hear that nuts, yes, the handful of almonds or walnuts you might snack on, are not just a source of healthy fats. They contain bioactive compounds that can either support testosterone production or, in some cases, interfere with it. And this is where misinformation often creates confusion. Some people will tell you that all nuts are universally good for men's health. That is not accurate. In fact, research shows that while certain nuts are rich in nutrients that fuel testosterone synthesis, others are high in compounds that may reduce bioavailable testosterone or raise estrogenic activity. So in this session, I want to walk you through the science in a clear, practical way. We will look at 5 nuts that are consistently shown to benefit testosterone and vitality in men over 50, and we will also talk about 2 nuts that may actually work against you if eaten in excess. My goal is not to scare you away from foods you enjoy, but to give you clarity, the kind of clarity I give my patients when they ask me, "Doctor, what should I really be eating to support my hormones?" By the end of our time together, you will not only know which nuts to prioritize, but also why they work, how to integrate them into your daily routine, and what the latest clinical research says. More importantly, you will understand that your hormones are not a mystery and you are not powerless against aging. Think of this as a roadmap to protecting your vitality with something as simple and natural as the foods on your plate. Almonds are one of the most popular nuts worldwide. They are often marketed as a health food because they are high in vitamin E, magnesium, and monounsaturated fats. But when it comes to testosterone, almonds have an interesting and somewhat misunderstood story. Here is what the research shows. Testosterone in your body is influenced not only by how much your testes produce, but also by how much is free and active versus bound and inactive. Certain compounds in foods can subtly shift this balance. Almonds, for example, are rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids. While these fats are excellent for heart health, in high amounts they may alter the ratio of free to bound testosterone. A study published in the Journal of Steroid Biochemistry found that diets very high in polyunsaturated fats were associated with lower circulating testosterone levels compared to diets higher in monounsaturated or saturated fats. But that does not mean almonds are bad for men. Quite the opposite. Almonds provide magnesium, and magnesium has been shown in a study published in Biological Trace Element Research to support testosterone levels, especially in men who exercise. Think of magnesium like the spark plug in your hormonal engine. Without it, the machinery of testosterone synthesis cannot run smoothly. Almonds also reduce oxidative stress, which indirectly helps protect the Leydig cells in the testes, the very cells responsible for producing testosterone. So how should we make sense of this? Imagine testosterone production as a factory. Almonds supply the factory with magnesium and antioxidants, which keep the machines running and protect them from damage. But if you flood the factory with too many polyunsaturated fats, the machines can slow down slightly. That is why balance matters. A handful of almonds, about 20 to 25 nuts per day, is generally beneficial, but relying on almonds as your only nut source, especially in very large amounts, may not be the best strategy for testosterone. In my practice, I often tell patients to enjoy almonds as part of a mixed nut intake. Pairing them with walnuts or Brazil nuts balances the fatty acid profile and enhances the overall hormonal benefits. It is not about one food being magical or dangerous, it is about synergy. Here is a practical takeaway. Almonds are excellent for cardiovascular health and provide essential nutrients that indirectly support testosterone. Use them as part of your daily diet, but do not depend on them alone. Instead, think of almonds as a supportive team player, not the star striker. Walnuts are often called the brain nut because their shape resembles the human brain, but their benefits extend far beyond mental health. For men over 50, walnuts can be a powerful ally for testosterone balance, cardiovascular protection, and inflammation control. Let us start with their nutrient profile. Walnuts are the richest nut source of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid. Why does this matter? Inflammation is one of the silent enemies of testosterone. When the body is inflamed, whether from obesity, insulin resistance, or chronic illness, the testes produce less testosterone, and the hormone that is produced is often less effective. Research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism shows that chronic low-grade inflammation is strongly associated with hypogonadism or low testosterone in aging men. Walnuts, with their omega-3 content, help calm this inflammatory storm. But that is not all. Walnuts also improve endothelial function, which is the health of the lining of your blood vessels. Better blood flow means better delivery of nutrients and hormones throughout the body, including to the testes and the penis. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that incorporating walnuts into the diet improved endothelial health within just a few weeks. If you think about testosterone production as a factory, then good blood flow is the shipping and supply chain. Without it, even if the factory is producing, the goods cannot reach their destination. Now, some men worry that walnuts, being calorie-dense, may lead to weight gain, but multiple studies, including one published in Obesity Reviews, have shown that people who eat nuts regularly actually have better weight control. That is because nuts like walnuts are high in fiber and protein, which help with satiety. And since excess body fat, especially around the abdomen, is one of the biggest risk factors for low testosterone, maintaining a healthy weight through satisfying foods like walnuts is another way they support hormone balance. So how do you incorporate them? A simple handful of walnuts per day, about 7 to 10 halves, can be enough to provide these benefits. Some men like to add them to oatmeal, yogurt, or a salad. Others simply snack on them raw. The key is consistency, not quantity. You do not need a bowlful, you need a steady supply. Here is the real-life takeaway. Walnuts help lower inflammation, improve circulation, and indirectly sustain testosterone. Think of them as the maintenance crew for your hormonal and vascular systems, keeping things running smoothly behind the scenes. If this is helping clarify things, give it a thumbs up and keep learning. And if walnuts are already a part of your diet, let me know in the comments how you enjoy them best. Brazil nuts are often overlooked because they are less common in many households. But when it comes to testosterone, they are one of the most powerful foods you can include in your diet. The reason lies in a single nutrient, selenium. Selenium is a trace mineral, meaning your body only needs a very small amount, but its role in male reproductive health is enormous. Selenium is required for the production of glutathione peroxidase, a key antioxidant that protects the testes from oxidative damage. More importantly, selenium is directly involved in testosterone synthesis and sperm production. Research published in the Journal of Urology has shown that men with higher selenium intake had better sperm quality, higher testosterone levels, and improved fertility outcomes. Now, here is where Brazil nuts stand out. Just one Brazil nut can contain as much as 90 to 100 micrograms of selenium. To put that in perspective, the recommended daily intake for adults is about 55 micrograms. That means a single Brazil nut can give you nearly double the requirement. In fact, eating just 2 Brazil nuts per day has been shown in studies to raise selenium levels significantly and improve antioxidant capacity. But more is not always better. Excess selenium can be toxic. The upper safe limit is about 400 micrograms per day, which means you should not eat handfuls of Brazil nuts daily. Instead, think of Brazil nuts as a potent supplement that nature wrapped in a nutshell. 2 to 3 nuts per day is enough for most men. Here is an analogy I often share with patients. Think of selenium like the oil in an engine. You do not need gallons of it, you just need enough to keep the system running smoothly. Too little and the engine breaks down, too much and you flood it. Brazil nuts in moderation keep the testosterone engine well lubricated. Beyond testosterone, selenium also supports thyroid health. And since the thyroid and testosterone are closely connected, men with healthy thyroid function often have better energy, mood, and vitality. A study from the International Journal of Endocrinology highlighted that correcting selenium deficiency improved thyroid hormone metabolism and indirectly overall metabolic health. So the practical tip here is simple. Aim for 2 Brazil nuts per day, not more. You can add them to a nut mix, chop them into yogurt, or enjoy them whole. This small daily habit can provide one of the most concentrated boosts to testosterone support that you will find in any natural food. Think of Brazil nuts as a natural, safe, and inexpensive alternative to questionable supplements. With them, you are letting food be your medicine in the most precise dose nature can offer. Pistachios are often thought of as just a tasty snack, but in the last decade, they have been studied closely for their effects on men's health, and the findings are impressive. For men over 50, pistachios may support testosterone, improve erectile function, and enhance cardiovascular health, all of which are deeply interconnected. Let us begin with the clinical evidence. A study published in the International Journal of Impotence Research followed men with erectile dysfunction who consumed pistachios daily for 3 weeks. The results showed significant improvements in erectile function, cholesterol profiles, and even blood flow measurements. While this was a relatively small trial, it gave us insight into how pistachios may directly benefit sexual health. Why would this happen? Pistachios are rich in arginine, an amino acid that is a precursor to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the molecule that relaxes blood vessels, allowing them to widen and deliver blood more effectively. You can think of nitric oxide as the relax button for your circulation system. Without it, blood flow to the penis and testes can be restricted. By supporting nitric oxide production, pistachios help improve both erectile function and nutrient delivery to the organs that produce testosterone. Pistachios also contain antioxidants such as lutein and polyphenols, which reduce oxidative stress. Since oxidative damage to Leydig cells is a major contributor to age-related testosterone decline, protecting those cells is critical. A paper in the Asian Journal of Andrology highlighted that antioxidant-rich diets are strongly associated with better testosterone preservation as men age. Pistachios fit directly into that category. Another interesting benefit is their effect on cholesterol. High LDL cholesterol and metabolic syndrome are strongly linked with lower testosterone. Pistachios, when eaten regularly, have been shown in multiple studies, including one from nutrition, metabolism, and cardiovascular diseases, to lower LDL cholesterol and improve HDL cholesterol. Better cholesterol balance means healthier cell membranes, and since testosterone is synthesized from cholesterol, this connection is vital. So how much should you eat? Around 1 to 2 handfuls, or about 30 to 40 grams per day, seems to be the sweet spot. Unsalted shelled pistachios are best because excess sodium can raise blood pressure, which counteracts the vascular benefits. Here is the real-life takeaway. Pistachios are not just a colorful snack, they are a natural booster of circulation, a protector of testosterone-producing cells, and a supporter of heart health. Think of them as the nuts that bring fuel and flow, the energy of testosterone combined with the circulation needed to use it effectively. If this resonates with you, comment below and share whether pistachios are already a part of your daily routine. And if you are learning something new, consider subscribing so you never miss evidence-based health strategies like this. Hazelnuts may not get as much attention as almonds or walnuts, but they offer unique benefits for men's hormonal health, particularly through their rich supply of vitamin E and monounsaturated fats. For men over 50, these nutrients are especially important because they protect testosterone-producing cells from damage and help stabilize hormone balance. Let us look at vitamin E first. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, which means it works within cell membranes to protect them from oxidative stress. The Leydig cells in the testes, the very cells responsible for testosterone synthesis, are particularly vulnerable to oxidative injury as men age. A study published in the Journal of Reproductive Biology and Endocrinology showed that supplementation with vitamin E improved testosterone production by reducing oxidative stress and preserving Leydig cell function. Hazelnuts, being one of the best natural sources of vitamin E, act almost like a protective shield for these hormone-producing factories. Hazelnuts also contain healthy monounsaturated fats, similar to those found in olive oil. Research from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition has demonstrated that diets higher in monounsaturated fats are linked to better testosterone levels compared to diets rich in polyunsaturated fats. This makes hazelnuts an excellent complement to nuts like walnuts, which are high in omega-3. By combining both, you balance your fat intake to maximize hormonal benefits. Beyond testosterone, hazelnuts also support cardiovascular health. They help lower LDL cholesterol and improve blood vessel elasticity. Since testosterone and vascular health are deeply intertwined, low testosterone is associated with heart disease, and poor vascular health can impair erectile function. Hazelnuts act as a bridge between hormone health and circulation. Here is a simple way to think about hazelnuts. Imagine your testosterone factory surrounded by walls. Over time, oxidative stress chips away at those walls, making the factory more fragile. Vitamin E from hazelnuts helps repair and reinforce those walls, keeping your hormone production stable and resilient. How much should you eat? Around a small handful per day, about 20 nuts, is sufficient. You can add them to a trail mix, blend them into smoothies, or enjoy them roasted as a snack. They are calorie dense, so moderation is key, but even modest daily intake has been shown in studies to improve antioxidant status in the body. Here is the practical takeaway. Hazelnuts are the nut for protection. They do not just fuel testosterone production, they defend the very cells that make it possible. For men navigating the hormonal shifts of their 50s and beyond, hazelnuts are a gentle but powerful ally. So far, we have explored 5 nuts that can actively support testosterone production and overall vitality, but it is equally important to recognize that not all nuts are beneficial in this regard. 2 commonly consumed nuts, peanuts and flaxseed, can actually work against your testosterone goals if eaten in large amounts. Let us begin with peanuts. Technically, peanuts are legumes, not true nuts, but they are consumed in similar ways. Peanuts are high in protein and contain resveratrol, which is a beneficial antioxidant. However, they are also rich in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, omega-6 is essential, but in excess, especially without enough omega-3 to balance it, omega-6 can drive inflammation. As we discussed earlier, inflammation is one of the biggest silencers of testosterone production. A diet high in omega-6 and low in omega-3 has been associated with reduced testosterone and poorer sperm parameters, according to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Another concern with peanuts is aflatoxins, naturally occurring toxins produced by certain molds that grow on peanuts. Chronic exposure to aflatoxins has been linked to liver stress and may indirectly impair hormone metabolism. While food safety regulations reduce this risk in many countries, it is another reason why moderation matters. Now let us turn to flaxseed. Flaxseed is often praised for being high in fiber and alpha-linolenic acid, a type of omega-3. However, flaxseed also contains lignans, which are phytoestrogens, plant compounds that mimic estrogen in the body. Several studies, including research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, have shown that high flaxseed intake can reduce both total and free testosterone by increasing sex hormone binding globulin, SHBG, and adding estrogen-like effects. While this might be beneficial in certain conditions, such as lowering prostate cancer risk, it is not ideal for men aiming to maintain optimal testosterone levels. Here is a way to think about it. Peanuts can increase the noise of inflammation in the body, making it harder for testosterone signals to be heard. Flaxseed, on the other hand, can act like a dimmer switch, dialing down testosterone activity by mimicking estrogen. Does this mean you should never eat peanuts or flaxseed? Not necessarily. A small serving of peanuts here and there is fine, especially if they are unsalted and fresh. Flaxseed can be useful in moderation for digestive health. The issue comes when these foods dominate your nut intake, pushing out the more testosterone-supportive options we have discussed. The practical advice here is balance. If your goal is hormonal vitality, keep peanuts and flaxseed as occasional foods, not daily staples. Prioritize walnuts, Brazil nuts, pistachios, hazelnuts, and almonds as the foundation of your nut intake. That way you are stacking the deck in favor of your testosterone rather than against it. We have covered a lot of ground together today, so let us take a step back and put it all into perspective. Testosterone is not just about muscles or libido, it is a hormone that influences energy, motivation, cardiovascular health, mood, and even how well you recover from stress. After the age of 50, it is natural for levels to decline. But as we have seen, that decline is not entirely out of your control. 5 nuts in particular, almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, pistachios, and hazelnuts, provide nutrients that either fuel testosterone production, protect the cells that make it, or create the right environment in the body for hormones to work effectively. Think of them as small but powerful allies you can recruit into your daily routine. Almonds give you magnesium and antioxidants. Walnuts calm inflammation and improve circulation. Brazil nuts provide selenium, like a precise daily supplement. Pistachios enhance nitric oxide and blood flow, and hazelnuts shield your hormone-producing cells with vitamin E. At the same time, we clarified that not all nuts are helpful for testosterone. Peanuts, with their high omega-6 content and aflatoxin risk, and flaxseed with its estrogen-like lignans may blunt testosterone activity if consumed in excess. They are not inherently dangerous in moderation, but they should not form the core of your nut intake if your goal is hormonal vitality. The science is clear. Small, consistent dietary choices accumulate into meaningful changes over time. You do not need drastic diets or expensive supplements. You need clarity and consistency. Adding a small handful of testosterone-friendly nuts to your daily diet is one of the simplest, most evidence-based strategies you can use to support your hormones after 50. Here is the action I encourage you to take starting today. Choose one of the 5 supportive nuts we discussed and make it part of your daily routine. It could be 2 Brazil nuts with breakfast, a handful of walnuts in your salad, or a few pistachios as an evening snack. Small steps done daily create long-term stability. You deserve clarity, not fear. Low testosterone, fatigue, or changes in sexual function are common, and they are manageable. You do not have to be afraid of your body. You just need good information and practical tools. So stay curious, stay informed, and remember, your health is something you can shape every single day. If this conversation has given you clarity, consider subscribing for more grounded, shame-free health content from someone who actually looks at this in the clinic every day. I will see you in the next one.